from the Fox 5 studios, this is Silver State Sports Live.
Back in the studio like we never left. We're still riding high from yesterday's show at the Las Vegas ballpark, but the Aviators and Golden Knights were brought back down to earth with a reality check. Welcome into Silver State Sports Live. I'm Mike Davis.
And I'm Mariah Janos. Tomorrow is the day that Mike will finally get tatted up as the NFL draft gets underway, and Fernando Mendoza will likely become a Raider. We're doing a little mock draft to get you set for that. Plus, the search for a potential NBA arena on the Strip continues. We've got the latest on that, but let's put it in reverse for a second. Take a look at a gut-wrenching Game 2 for the guys in gold last night. We'll pick things up scoreless in the first. Knights on the power play. Jack Eichel sells the shot, feeding Mark Stone, who banks it in. At first glance, it looked like Tomas Hertl finally broke through, but it was all the captain to take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, moving to the second period, Utah up 2-1, trying to clear it, but Ivan Barbashev is there to pick it up and go to work, cutting in down low. He goes to his backhand and puts it upstairs for the equalizer, tied at 2.
And it all came down to the final frame. Dylan Gunther beelines for the goal and fires. It's blocked, but Logan Coley buries it. The rebound for the go-ahead, and it would stay that way. The Mammoth even out the series with a 3-2 win. Heading back to Utah, here's John Tortorella after the game.
I thought our first period was one of our better first periods in a while. One of our better ones since I've been here. Just lost any type of flow in the second period, the way everything was going on. Thought we had a good start to the third period and had some opportunities. We couldn't score. They find a way with some of their speed. Yeah, we've got a couple of things that we need to fix. I'm not going to discuss it here, but that's why it's a series.
All right, so here the breakdown. Game 2 is our VGK insider, Vince Sapienza. Vince, Utah's speed and pace of play has stood out this whole series. But the Knights were able to match in the back half of Game 1, but it seemed like, it got the best of them in Game 2. Do you see this quickness as an Achilles heel for Vegas?
I don't know so much of that it's an Achilles heel, but it was definitely an issue. The Golden Knights were able to keep them at bay, if you will, by using their physicality, by using their strength in Game 1. 52 hits from the Golden Knights in Game 1 on Sunday. That really was the difference because they wore down on them. They grinded on them and kept them to the point where they were exhausted by the end of the game. Now, in Game 2, the game was disrupted a ton. There was not a lot of flow, 14 penalties in total, and when you have that many penalties and a parade to the penalty box, you're unable to roll your lines, and one of the biggest strengths for the Golden Knights is being able to roll all 4 lines. We saw that in Game 1. The Golden Knights' fourth line put up 2 goals, including the game winner in the third period. So that's what I'm talking about, wearing on guys, leaning on guys, and leaning on your opponent that is inexperienced like that. So when you're unable to do that in Game 2 and not get out your fourth line as much and have those matchups, that's where you're going to see that speed kind of devolve for the Golden Knights and evolve for the Utah Mammoth, who get their first Stanley Cup playoff victory as a franchise in Utah.
All right, now let's talk Ivan Barbashev and Mark Stone, both of them finding the score sheet in Games 1 and 2. Can you just speak to the importance of these two players, what their presence alone does for the club, but then especially in playoff time?
Well, Mark Stone's importance is, I don't even know how to properly quantify it, because when he's out, it's noticeable. The team doesn't even look like the same Golden Knights team. But I think we all understand the importance of when your captain is in or out of the lineup. But Ivan Barbashev has been an absolute demon during the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we're only 2 games in. His hitting ability, his just toughness, and the want to is something that is unmatched, unbridled on this team and in this playoff series. If every player played like Ivan Barbashev, then the Golden Knights would be up 2-0, no doubt about it. Ivan Barbashev scored on that backhand goal in the second period, but it was actually his second attempt at it. He went between the legs and he just missed it. But Ivan Barbashev has truly been the catalyst for this team early on in this series. He's been one of the biggest reasons why the Golden Knights have had so much success. He has been one of those guys setting the tone. And as much as we talk about the fourth line imposing that physicality, imposing their will, Ivan Barbashev, who's playing on the top line with Mark Stone, with Jack Eichel, is a guy that doesn't touch the puck a ton. When he does, he has to make the most of it. And when he's not touching the puck, he has to be impacting the game different ways. He's been doing that with his physicality, his hits, 8 in Game 1, 4 more
Yeah,
in Game 2.
He's been playing out of his mind. So the series now tied up at 1 apiece. Heading to Utah now, how do you see the Knights getting back in this, and do you have any predictions on the series?
Yeah, I think it really goes back to the blueprint of Game 1. You have to impose your will, especially when you go on the road in a playoff series. You have to be proactive. You cannot be reactive, because once you're reactive on the road, you allow the building to get into it. Remember, this is going to be the first Stanley Cup playoff game in the state of Utah. That building, the Delta Center, is going to be absolutely rocking. The Mammoth is going to be making its way to and fro.
There we go.
Maybe. We don't know if it's going to be inside or outside, but we do know the crowd is going to be absolutely electric. I remember year 1 of the Golden Knights. No opposing team knew what it was going to be like for the Golden Knights, but the Medieval Maniacs showed up, showed out. Now it's one of the best barns in the NHL. I expect no different from the Mammoth faithful. So Friday night in Salt Lake City is going to be one to remember. Lucky enough that we, Fox 5, Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, will be there along the way to catch all the sights and sounds of it.
And you know that Vince already has his date with the Mammoth scheduled, so we cannot wait to see that.
Coming at you.
Thank you so much. Stick around. We're going to get back to you in just a sec. Still to come on Silver State Sports Live, we're mocking it out. Vince is staying with us to reveal his top 3 selections for the Raiders. That's when Silver State Sports Live returns.
This week on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. Your Triple SEN lineup is sponsored by AAA Roadside Assistance. Visit AAA today.
You're watching Silver State Sports Live.
We're officially only 1 day out from the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft in beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Raiders.
That's nice.
Yeah, James wrote that.
It's also the birthplace of our gym.
It really is, producer James. Now, the Raiders, they're on the clock and frankly have been on the clock for months. And in about 24 hours, the excitement surrounding the selection of Fernando Mendoza will finally be solidified. And sticking here to help us break down all the excitement is Vince Sapienza.
Yeah, hey
Hello.
Vince, welcome back to
Pittsburgh,
the
also going to be the
couch.
birthplace of change for the Silver and Black.
I like that.
That's inspiring. I love it. Okay, so sticking with that, how big is this moment for Raider Nation and the franchise moving forward?
By far the biggest event, biggest change, biggest move, 2+ decades without a question. Fernando Mendoza is forever going to change the complexion of the future for the franchise and the hope and expectations. For the first time in literal decades, there is hope for the future and long sustained hope for the future, because outside of Derek Carr, and with all due respect to Derek Carr, he was not a first-round pick.
It's a second-round pick.
He was a second-round pick that they were hoping could turn into something. Now, Derek Carr has all the passing records for the Raiders franchise. That's all well and great. He was a fantastic Raider. As polarizing as he was, he is not to the level, prospect-wise, as Fernando Mendoza is. This is the first time you're going to have a national championship winning, Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, first overall, paired with a Super Bowl champion first-time head coach. Never in the history of the NFL has that happened, that type of pairing in the same season. So the opportunity that lay at the feet of the Raiders and Raider Nation is one of one.
And frankly, I mean, Derek Carr, he might have a bunch of stats, but he was no Jim Plunkett or Kenny Stabler in terms of what he delivered for the Raiders franchise. But here's what I want to ask you, because you know me. I'm high on Mendoza. Mariah's going to tattoo tomorrow. I'm promising this. She's going to write Mendoza 15 on my forehead. But
get ready.
Where do you rank him in terms of quarterback prospect entering the NFL in recent memory? To me, I think it's basically Caleb Williams, Joe Burrow in terms of top picks who are maybe better coming into the NFL than Mendoza. But after that, I think Mendoza's underappreciated. Where do you rank him?
Well, I think the reason, let's get to the why if he's underappreciated, right? You look at the rest of the quarterback class, and who is it? Ty Simpson? Okay, if you're comparing Fernando Mendoza to Ty Simpson, there is no comparison. Then when Fernando's just standing there all along, you're looking at the draft class and you're asking yourself, how could he possibly stack up to anybody else when he has nobody to compare in his draft class? So that's one. Two, I would make the argument that since a Joe Burrow, Fernando Mendoza is the cleanest prospect to enter the NFL draft.
No one was fighting you in this room.
But I'm just like, I didn't understand why there was so much talk of McCarthy and Penix and Drake May and all these guys, Jaden Daniels. They haven't done half this stuff, Mendoza. And he's got the ceiling and he also has the floor. He's so safe as a prospect.
He has the pedigree, he has the production, and he has the accolades, and he also has the preparation. I think one of the biggest things in the draft machine that is the NFL draft, there's ebbs and flows, right? Guys are going to be high on him for a couple weeks, then you're going to get the Orlovskis pointed at all the flaws, and then it's going to build back up. I think the biggest thing with Fernando Mendoza, I think everybody agreed, the consensus was his floor was very high. Regardless of how he stacked up against everybody else, his floor was very high, right? But I think you're starting to see people come around and be like, this guy's the real deal from his preparation. And that's not, the tape didn't change. It wasn't all of a sudden, hey, he looks a little different. No, now you hear what his teammates are saying. Now you hear what these pundits are saying, digging into the tape, talking to his coaches, what he's like. I mean, during his pro day, he spent 45 minutes preparing for the pro day. His pro day lasted 30 minutes. So when you talk about a kid that puts that much time, effort, and preparation into something, you know that he's going to take it and he's going to run with it. Now, again, that's when it goes back to, can he make all the throws? The answer is yes. Does he understand concepts? Yes. He's working out with Brian Greasy and understands Clint Kubiak's offense right now. So this kid has all the goods, his height, his stature. When you look at the comparables, I don't know if he's Joe Burrow, but is he Justin Herbert without the cannon of an arm? I mean, I'm talking clean prospects. That's a short list, and that is a small tier of clean prospects. I think Fernando fits that mold.
Yeah. He's tough as hell. I mean, the dude is tough as hell as well. So, anyway.
Do you like Fernando Mendoza or something? Do you like him? Sorry, let's double check.
Fernando, please accept my request on LinkedIn.
Please accept his rose. Okay, so now we're gonna have some fun. Everyone and their mother is doing mock drafts. So we're going to do some as well.
Yeah, this is my favorite thing. So Vince, myself, and Mariah, we all have our top 3 selections from round 1, 2, and 3 for the Raiders. So Vince, kick it off.
Oh, you want the correct one? You want the correct one first?
You know what? Can we get a Mammoth in here and wheel him out?
So obviously we're going to go with the Mandalorian first overall.
Yeah.
Fernando Mendoza, again,
Did you come up with that nickname?
No, that's actually his favorite nickname.
So far?
The Mandalorian.
Okay.
I think that speaks volumes to who he is.
So here we go. In round 2, this is where the draft really starts for the silver and black. In round 2, 36 overall, this is assuming the Raiders stick and stay. I'm going Caden McDonald. I do think there's going to be a run on offensive tackles. I think that is probably the strongest positional group in this draft right now. I think we're going to see a massive run on offensive tackles. I simply don't think that there's going to be any left in the second round that are clear and dominant in terms of what the Raiders already have. They invested along the offensive line last year. Along the offensive line, they really like Charles Grant. DJ Glaze is still there. Remember, he's only 3 years into the NFL. It's not like he's some old wily vet. So unless an offensive tackle falls, I don't think that's going to happen. I go with the next best possible guy, Caden McDonald, absolute game wrecker. And then in round 3, it's an absolute numbers game. It's a certainty the Raiders are going to draft a safety. This draft has plenty of them. Give me a TCU safety, Bud Clark, an absolute ball hawk, 15 interceptions in his college career, 10 in the last 3 seasons. Big 12 football, I mean, they've seen some things. They know defenses. So Bud Clark is a ball hawk, an impact player they need on the back end on that defense as Rob Leonard tries to change the fortunes of that position group. I do not buy into the Raiders need a wide receiver.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right,
okay.
Let me jump in now. Here's my take on this year's draft. There's really 32 selections, obviously, in the first round, but there's really only 16 or 17 first-round graded prospects in this year's draft. There's not a lot of good talent. Now, offensive tackle, like you mentioned, Vince, is one of the few areas that's very deep this year in the draft. Now, to me, I think when John Spytek was doing his masterful work trading Max Crosby for those 2 first-round picks, one of which would have been the 14th overall pick from the Ravens, they were probably going to target the guard from Penn State and shore up this offensive line. I think the difference between Mendoza coming here and Andrew Luck in years past to the Colts, Trevor Lawrence to the Jags, all these different situations, the Raiders are setting Mendoza up for success. That's why Linderbaum was so huge. Having a left tackle already in Colton Miller is huge. And now getting a tackle to fall in that second round at 36, that's going to be huge because they got the 4th pick in the second round. So you already know Ty Simpson's going to go 1 or 2 in the second round. Then some other player will fall. I have 7 offensive tackles that I think are worthy of selecting at 36. If one falls, I think it will be Caleb Lomu from Utah. That's my idea. And then in the 3rd round, I just want some synergy between Mendoza and a wide receiver carrying over from Hoosierland. And that's where I like Elijah Surratt from Indiana. I think he'll be there in the 3rd round. I think it makes a lot of sense.
All right, well, here's my picks. And we have a little overlap there at that number 3 overall pick. I do like the idea of having a security blanket there in Elijah Surratt out of Indiana. But then I look at, like Vince said, a defensive tackle. So Christian Miller, why not? This defense has been loaded up with Georgia Bulldogs this offseason. Why not add one more there? And obviously he's got the size, 6'4", 320 pounds. He fights off blocks, and then he can still make the tackle. That's what jumps out about this kid. But on top of it, I listened to some of his interviews, and he talked about his passion for the game, how much he loves football, and he loves the brotherhood that comes with it. And that is something that John Spytek and this front office, those are characteristics they're looking for in a football player. So I like this kid. Give me Christian Miller.
All right, a lot of good selections there. We have some overlap with Surratt. That's good. Vince, what are you going to give Mariah and I once we are correct and you're not?
A Labubu.
Still need to figure out what that is.
All right, well, we'll figure that out in the break. Don't forget, we have an extra special Silver State Sports Live for you tomorrow. We're going back on the road, you guys. We'll be live from the official Raiders draft party at the Palms Casino tomorrow at 2 p.m. We're taking you inside this exclusive party. And when we come back, a potential NBA arena location is in the works. Where at? We're going to discuss next.
You're watching Silver State Sports Live.
The NBA expansion to Las Vegas talk just won't die down. Yesterday, a new proposal for the future home of the expected Las Vegas NBA franchise began circulating on social media. It's called Diamond Arena and would be located on the northeast corner of Las Vegas Boulevard and Four Seasons Drive, directly across from Mandalay Bay. Now, the project features a 21,000-seat arena with an entrance directly on the Las Vegas Strip. And interestingly enough, another wrinkle is that this proposal does not include any casino affiliation, and some are even predicting a private jet parking lot to be in the mix. So, of course, the NBA had no comment on this proposal or any hand in the making of this. So, Mariah, if you had your pick, where an NBA arena should be in Las Vegas, where would you choose?
Okay, so here's the thing. I like this idea and this location because it's of its proximity to the other arenas in town, right? You've got Allegiant Stadium right there. The Aces play in Mandalay Bay at Michelob Ultra Arena. The A's ballpark is not too far away. You got T-Mobile Arena. So this could be like the sports corner of the Strip, right? It could be great for all the fans. You could catch an A's game in the afternoon and then end the night at an NBA game potentially. But then I'm like, are we not giving enough love to the other parts of the Strip? What about the North Strip, right? Because there's not much going on there, but then you got the convention center over there. You got the Sphere. So that's more tourist attractions there as well. So maybe we just keep all the sports in one area. So I don't hate it. I don't know. What do you think?
I think the big thing is it's either going to be south or north. It's not going to be middle.
Not in the
of
middle. There's
Strip.
no.
What we really need is Ken Smith here to talk about some
the traffic.
What traffic is going to look like in these patterns. The interesting thing is, I do think South Strip, where this would be, might be easier for locals.
It's easier to get in and out of, for sure.
Right. So I do like that. But then I do think that area across from Resorts World, near the Wynn, near the Sphere, near the Convention Center, there is a lot of land there to be developed. And people think potentially across from Resorts World could be that location for an arena as well. So I actually prefer this. I do like that sports corner of the Strip feel, and I think it's better for locals. But you know what, Ken Smith, let's get him to come in next week and just talk, what the congestion would look like on the Strip, because I know I'm congested in my nostrils right now.
It's allergy season.
It's allergy season.
Yeah.
So Ken's going to help me with that, and then with this.
Okay, perfect. Well, coming up, everyone is talking about the future number one pick's throw. Well, technically, it was a pitch. Fernando's first pitch. Ooh, I love the way that sounds. We got it for you after the break.
You're watching Silver State Sports Live.
All right, so you know me. If there is Fernando Mendoza content out there, I'm making it a priority to discuss it, and Mariah's making it a priority to put AI images of me on his person.
You have to, but there's sadly no AI for us today. This just in, while the man is pinpoint accurate with the old pigskin, it doesn't necessarily translate to other sports. Mendoza, threw out the first pitch at the Miami Marlins game. Not bad, a little high, a little outside. That's okay. That's not what he's getting drafted for. But overall, not too shabby. Do you think you could beat him? Do you think you could make a better throw than that?
Oh yeah, but I think the thing is, that is a hard moment. There's a lot of pressure.
Now you're gonna defend him.
He's in his hometown, Miami, family, friends. There's a lot of pressure.
He crow hopped into the throw. I think that gave it a little too much juice.
It is weird though, because most quarterbacks are really good baseball players, right?